Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today we're going to take a look at these hethrone 0.4 millimeter fineliner pens. So don't ask me why, but I'm on a fineliner kick. I saw a video by Coloring Kid where she uses some fineliners in her artwork, in her coloring. And it got me thinking. I have some fineliners, but I wanted to, do some testing for you guys so that you could find something that works for you. Now, as you can see from this packaging, it did not come well. So I'm going to insert the footage from where I opened it here, and then I'll be back with you. And let's take a look at what I got. I thought I would do this opening with you because I can tell that the packaging failed. So what is this, you say? This is hethrone 100 unique vibrant markers. Now, overall, these have gotten good reviews, but I did read a couple of reviews in which they said that this box failed. And it certainly did fail, because it's not like it just came undone. I mean, we have a broken marker somewhere because there's ink on the bottom here. Can you see that? And it's torn here, ripped here, and you saw me open it, so I'm probably going to get ink on my desk. But I've heard good things about these fineliners, so I am going to swatch them out and take a peek and see, because they're very reasonably priced. And there's 100 of them. And I'm going to do a review between these, the Shuttle Art, and the more expensive Arteza Iconic, just to see what the difference is between the markers, between the color palette, and just see, how many of these are dry. Do they write smoothly? And just kind of do a little comparison. But I am a little disappointed that this is how they came, and depending on my initial swatch, if I get a number of these that are dry, then of course I will just send them back. If it's just a matter of a packaging fail, then I'll just note that. But I put these in a case because, I number everything. And I already got the Shuttle Art ones, and I have them numbered and in a case. And this is one of the bigger cases, so I will put all 3 brands in here, so all of my fineliners will go in one case. So I just wanted to pop in and film this before I do anything, and then I will do some reviews and let you know my findings. Okay, now that we've discussed the horrendous packaging that these fineliners come with, let's take a peek at our palette. So I didn't want to do a lot of work with these because I haven't decided if I'm going to return them or not. A lot of it will depend on this test, but I did print out just a general swatch sheet and did a little scribble of all the colors. Now, overall, when I was coloring with these, I felt like there were some pens, like this one, that came out kind of juicy and moist and felt good to use. This one was completely dry, but then there were others, like maybe this one, where I felt like I really had to kind of struggle to get the pigment down on the paper, And to be honest, looking at my scribbles now versus when I was actually doing it, I feel like looking at them now, they turned out better than what I thought when I was using them. Does that make sense? When I was using them, I was not that impressed. Now, these are 100 fine liners for, I got them for $15. So that's pretty cheap. It's 15 cents a marker or a pen or whatever you want to call these. For simplicity, I put them in different packaging so that I could just deal with them, because obviously in a big pile wasn't helpful. So I printed out a little swatch sheet thing that we will fill out together with these pens. So let me zoom you out just a touch. Okay, I got everything in there? I think so. Okay, so these are called hethrone. The packaging, I'm giving it no stars. It was terrible. And one marker, one of the greens had leaked a little. You can see it here on the packaging that it leaked, and it got all over. So by the time I was done scribbling, my hands were green. And so now they are washable. They're water based. So it came off clean, but annoying nonetheless. So the price per pen is 15 cents to 20 cents. And the reason I say that is because I had a coupon for 20% off. Normally they are just under 20 bucks. So I'm going to say 15 to 20 cents. So I think that's pretty good. So we're going to give them 5 stars for that. The number available is 100. So we'll give them 5 stars for that. You guys know I'm impatient. I'm not going to fill those in tidily, right? Can you buy them open stock? No. Do the barrels match the swatch? So, how can we do this? Let's go to our first tray here, and we'll just count. We'll just pick one at random. This one looks like it might be good. 1, 2, 3, so 7. It's a 7, Wendy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let's take a look. I think that's actually pretty good. So let's pick another one at random. Let's pick this one. 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 25. Yeah. 26, 27, 20. Okay. So here we are. It's a little lighter, but fair. I think it's pretty good. So we'll do one more. Now that I know there's 25 in a box, let's pick number 50. I feel like this is a little redder maybe than that, but I'm not unhappy with this because, at random, I would say they did a pretty dang good job of matching. So we're gonna give them the 5 stars. Especially for being a budget pen. So bleed through. So this is just the cheapest copy paper you can buy. I feel like we got a little bit of ghosting, but we didn't really get any bleed through. And like I said, this is really cheap paper. Let's try it on here. Let's pick like a real deep color. So this guy. And I want to really like fill in our box here. you know, like you would color. Now this is cardstock, this random cardstock that I have. I am really saturating it here. So let's take a peek. Absolutely didn't go through the cardstock. So if you had good paper, you would totally be fine. But let's do our same experiment on our cheapo paper. So that I really saturated a lot to the left and then got a little lighter. So a touch of bleed through here. So let's do one more test here. We're definitely not going to go through there, but let's, on our really bad paper, I'm going to really saturate there and then go lighter. Once again, if you're really thick with it, can you even see that? Gee, Wendy, could you zoom in? Okay. So you can see that there is a little bleed through, but let's say that you go in and you just do a light layer, right? You get some ghosting, but definitely no bleed through, right? But what happens if you go in, now that this is kind of dry, let's go in with our second layer. Still just ghosting. Still just heavy ghosting. Here you're definitely starting to near bleed through. But I don't think these are bad because this is ultra thin paper. Like, guys, it's see-through, right? Like, you can, look at, you can, okay, Wendy, get in camera. Okay. You can actually see, I don't know if you can, I can actually read what that says through that paper. So this is incredibly thin paper. Let me back you out so you're not. So I think that they do pretty well for bleed through. So I'm going to give them 4 stars. Let's take a look at the palette. I feel like let's look at classic colors. We got a classic red. We got a classic blue, classic light blue, grass green, bright yellow, traditional orange, purple. I feel like there's some variances of purple, some variances of pink. You got some different yellows, a couple of neons, quite a few greens. You know, there's some colors, like I feel like these two are pretty similar. These two are pretty similar. You know, it's hard to tell because I didn't put them in color family order, so I can't really, you know, I'm just kind of visually looking at some different colors. There's some similarity, but I think for budget, it's actually pretty decent. And we had this pencil, or this fineliner, and this one especially were dry and not good. But overall, I thought they were fine. So palette-wise, I'm going to give them 4. I feel like there isn't a lot of, I don't know. There isn't a whole lot of the pastel kind of, I feel like there isn't a lot of dark colors maybe. This all seems very vibrant and carnival, you know, just bright, cheerful colors, which is great. But if I was looking to do like a natural scene, I'm not seeing those more muted colors, I guess. I'm going to take that back. Actually, I think it's a pretty fair palette because we've got our ochres colors here. There are some pastel-y kind of colors. I think it's because they're not in color family order, but unless I'm going to keep them, I'm not doing that because it takes me hours. So not doing that unless I'm keeping them, and I haven't quite decided. So let's take a look at each of the pens individually. So they say fine liner color pen, 0.4 millimeters. We agreed that I think as far as the looks, they're a beautiful pen. I love that it has the color on the tip as well as the end. The caps go on nicely. They're easy to put on, but they're not too easy that I'm tugging, not pulling hard, but I'm tugging. So it takes a little pressure to pull them off. As far as in the hand, I think they feel really good. They're thin, but a lot of fine liners are. As far as the point, I feel like, let me zoom you in again. Okay. I feel like it's a nice tip. I didn't feel like this was going to bend or break on me, and I have a pretty heavy hand. Over here I've put color names and numbers, so that's a separate star. So I'm actually going to give them all 5 stars for their pencil appearance and feel. Now, as far as, you know, can we see these on black? Probably not. I modified my colored pencil one, so I don't know if this is even important. I don't think anyone's going to be using these on black, but they do fairly decent on black. So I was kind of surprised by that. There isn't really a white. They have this color, which I would say is gray, but this is the one that had what I thought was a terrible laydown. It almost looks green, and it definitely, Wendy, stay in the camera. Okay, there we go. It actually laid down better today. Let me take a look. I put that blue one in a different direction. The one that was completely dry. You can see it's dry. It's just, I don't know, maybe the lid didn't get put back. I don't know. But 1 out of 100. But let's pick a pen at random and let's just talk about overall. I feel like it has a smooth laydown. Probably not the best fine liner person. As I don't have a huge amount of experience, but I like the idea of adding details to my page. So, once again, I'm just picking kind of random colors. Let's talk about water solubility. Let's get a water brush pen. It has water in it. Okay. Get some water going. So, not very water soluble. We're going to do that test again here. I am going to lay it down over here, and we're going to let that dry and see if that makes a difference. Did I go in too quickly? Let's talk about dry time. So, it dries really fast. Like, I don't even think I can, like, it does not smudge at all. So definitely we're going to give it, I'm going to give this, as far as the smooth laydown, when I was doing all of the colors, I wasn't that impressed. Maybe it was the paper. Maybe it seems to do better on this paper, but I'm only going to give it 2 stars. I'm going to give it 3 stars for smooth laydown. No stars for water solubility. Let's test here. Yeah, it's not water soluble. So we won't give it any stars for that, but we will give it 5 stars here because it does dry quickly. Okay, so off camera, I laid down some Prismacolor and some polychromos. I grabbed 2 pencils at random. They were both green. I figured let's take a look at, we're going to look at this color. So this is what it looks like by itself. I mean, it went over the Prismacolor and it went over the polychromos. It didn't seem to have any trouble with either, though I would say it felt easier over the polychromos, but that was very subtle difference. Okay, color names or numbers. It has neither, so it's going to get 0 points there. I'm just going to say other things to note was the broken packaging. What is annoying to me is I saw that in a review, and like I said, for me, you know me, I'm going to put them in the case, right? I have a case, they're going to be numbered, and I don't really care about packaging. Okay, so I shouldn't say I don't care about packaging because I feel like that's a part of it, right? And I do care that I got green all over. You can still even see some green. I got green on my hands, and I didn't enjoy that process at all. I had to clean all the outsides of these with alcohol. I don't even know if I got them all done because I didn't do them individually. I just kind of rubbed the alcohol paper towel over them. So, you know, what I will say is that it's disappointing that for a seemingly good, let's add these up. Let's do some math. Prepare yourself. 5, 10, 15, 18, 23, 26, 31, 36. So 36 out of 65. Okay, so they got 41 out of 65 stars. So what's disappointing to me is that with packaging, I mean, they lost 5 stars there because they're aware of the problem. There was more than one review with the packaging. So they're aware of the problem and haven't fixed it. So that's annoying. Open stock, I have a feeling a lot of these pens are going to lose that. Water solubility, you know, you got to ask yourself if you don't use water mediums, or you're not planning on, or if you're using these as the final step, or you're not going to use a water medium, that won't matter at all because they definitely passed the smudge test. They definitely went over our colored pencils. You can add, like if I were to keep these, I would simply add a number and swatch them. Personally, I don't really care about the name. in this case. With Prismacolor and things like that, I actually know my pencils better by name than I do number. But for these, I'm like, oh, number 10 is this color. That's the one I want to use. So that's how I would do these. But could they do better? Yes. Okay, so let's talk about our overall results. Packaging may or may not be a make it or break it deal for you. Some people like to keep stuff in their original packaging. If that's the case, I definitely wouldn't buy these fine liners. If open stock is a deal breaker for you, then that may be an issue. I wouldn't worry in this case so much, just simply because I'm not using fine liners as my main coloring medium. I plan on putting dots in flowers, putting a texture on a rock, or adding some grass, detail. So I don't anticipate these markers drying out. Now, obviously, I just got these, so I can't speak to their longevity, but I'm not too fussed about the open stock for what I plan on using these for, because let's say I use this one to completion, I could buy a Stabilo, I could buy one of the ones that you can get at Michael's to replace that. I don't think that these are so fabulous that they aren't replaceable by another brand. And at $15 for 100, it's doable to replace the entire set. But I do believe in open stock with colored pencils, so I did keep that on there. I was very impressed with the barrel matching and the bleed through, the overall feel of them. The water solubility, I personally see myself using these much more as a final step, much like I do a Posca pen, where I'm adding in those final little details, than I am basing with them. Or I just think there are other mediums for me that seem more practical for basing than fine liners. Part of which because I tend to be a little heavy-handed, and they're a slower medium for me. But this appeals to me very much, adding in some little grass flicks at the end. This is how I see myself using them. So for that, I feel like they're really good. I can put a number on mine and get around this one. So 41 out of 65 is the total score. These, I would say, would be a good budget pencil if you're looking for a fine liner that, you're wanting for the detail work as opposed to as a base layer. I think that you could get yourself in trouble with the base layer with bleed through and or just the feel of them, like the juicy feel of them, as opposed to other fine liners that I've used. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I will leave a link in the description box for these fine liners, and until next time, happy coloring. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you enjoy adult coloring content, please consider subscribing. You can now find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I welcome all comments and suggestions. Don't forget to like the video before you go. And until next time, take care.